Hey guys, it's Dylan from Clueless Gamers, back with another Yu-Gi-Oh video, and as you can tell by the title, this is kind of a breaking news and then the discussion video. For those of you that are only here for the breaking news, which is in the title, what the discussion is that a bunch of people have asked me questions, Yu-Gi-Oh related, some Arc 5 related, some not Arc 5 related, and I will get into discussion, so it's good food for thought. But if you are here for the title, there has been some breaking news from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 world, and it was pointed out to me by Shinjiro and Cody100, and it basically is a source that claims Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 is confirmed to end in spring 2017. I'll link the sources down below. Now, this is a rumor. I'm not sure if it's the truth or not. I'm always hesitant with rumors and translations like this, but it would make a lot of sense if this is the truth. So I wanted to delve into this a little deeper. Spring always begins on March 20th, and it lasts 13 weeks, as all the four seasons do. So spring lasts from March 20th to June 20th, approximately. Some hemispheres it starts the 19th or 21st, but let's just say it starts the 20th, and it ends the June 20th, March to June. That means we have, I counted manually, 149 to 162 episodes remaining of Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5. But I think I can actually predict the final day that Arc 5 will air on TV. This is of course a prediction, but I've used previous stats, and this is why I think this prediction will be true. If you look back, Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal ended March 23rd, 2014. Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds ended March 30th, 2011. And Yu-Gi-Oh! GX ended March 26th, 2008. So I believe, let's pull up our handy-dandy calendar, it's not going to end the 18th or the 19th because spring technically is just starting, and none of these shows have gone into April. So I really think Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5, the final day, will be on either Saturday or Sunday, whatever you want to say, the 25th or the 26th. That weekend will be the final Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 episode. Of course, that is a prediction, and if that is true, that means we will get 150 episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5, assuming there are no more ping-pong tournaments or other events that they'll have to maybe cancel an episode for a week. So if you build in maybe four episodes, let's say, that get canceled or pushed back a week, I believe that maybe we're going to be around 146, 147 episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5, right where Zexal was. Zexal had 146, 5Ds had 154. I don't think it's going to touch 5Ds unless it does go into April and May, which I guess is possible, but based on the past three previous shows, probably won't be the case. It will also get nowhere near Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, which had 180, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters, which I believe had 224. So Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 looks like it'll be around the Zexal level. It might even be right in the middle of Zexal and 5Ds. I don't want to spend too much time on what this means. If there's any more news, the only reason I didn't make this a separate video was because I do discussion videos every other Sunday, and literally the news broke. I heard about it Friday night, so I was like, it's just perfect. I can mention it in the beginning of this video. You guys let me know what you want to say about this. Also, I will have a table of contents down below if you want to scroll to any specific questions. I know you're looking at the length of this video. It's a very long video, I'm aware. Last video, Destiny Coordinator 77, really nice guy. He made an entire table of contents list for me that I was too lazy to make myself. I will do it myself this time, so big props to him. I really appreciated that. And a lot of these questions might have to do with Arc 5. It will have to do with other Yu-Gi-Oh! Topics. So if you just clicked on this video for the breaking news, that's perfect. The discussion is going to start now, so as always, thank you guys so much for your questions. Not going to spend too much time on this breaking news, but I think I gave you guys an idea of when Arc 5 probably will end and how many episodes we will be getting from Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5. So anyway, going to get right into the Q&A right now. Hope you guys enjoy. So the first question is from Noah Solomon, and I actually think this fits perfectly with what's going on right now in Arc 5. Do you think Arc 5 is going downhill? It's a very fair question, and I gave this question, honestly, a lot of thought. Literally, while I saw this question a while ago when he first commented it, I was driving around, because I'm a delivery driver, when I'm home from college. So I'm driving around, you have a lot of time to think, and I thought about this question, and here's what I came up with. Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 right now is in the purgatory of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Story. And let me say what I mean by that. This is like the calm before the storm. Assuming we have 150 episodes, this is really like the time where no Yu-Gi-Oh! Show, in my opinion, has been really strong. I thought Zexal before the Barry and Onslaught arc was really boring. I thought the same about 5Ds. I really didn't like the arcs that they did before the final Zone arc, which was really awesome. And GX, honestly, probably had the strongest in Season 3 before Season 4, where, you know, Season 3, and I know a lot of people, when GX has something above all the other Yu-Gi-Oh! Shows, that says a lot, really, because GX was all over the place, as everyone knows. And even the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Kind of had issues before that final season where they were in Egypt. It had that weird filler arc where Kaiba had a tournament and he versed Siegfried, and that it was just kind of awkward. You had the Doma filler. This is right now the time where it's the calm before the storm, and here's what I'm getting to. Yu-Gi-Oh!, in my opinion, has never had a bad ending. I thought GX Season 4 was fantastic. I thought the final arc in 5Ds was fantastic. I thought the final arc in Zexal was fantastic. Honestly, my least favorite closing arc was probably the one from the original Yu-Gi-Oh! I wasn't a fan of the whole Egypt thing. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. And I know a lot of people are probably going to disagree with me on that. I know a lot of people did like that arc. But I will say this, Yu-Gi-Oh! Has always finished strong. So what I'm saying is I'd much rather them rush things right now from episodes 104 to 124, and then from episodes 125 to 150 have a really, really strong ending. I have no reason to believe that Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 is not going to have a very strong conclusion like all the other Yu-Gi-Ohs before it. So right now, while things are a little dicey, and yeah, they're rushing some things, I still am enjoying the show. And I really think we're just in right now a purgatory state that every Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime seems to go through right before the really, really good final, final scenes and final duels. So I do not think Arc 5 is going downhill. I have no reason to believe that Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 will not have a really strong conclusion. So the question from Junior RC is, I already suggested an anime versus manga series in the future, and the other day it occurred to me, what is your opinion on the English dub of Yu-Gi-Oh? Did you enjoy it, still enjoy it, or do you despise it? Also in the future, and if more people were open to it, would you do a dub versus sub series where you explore the major differences in the plot of each series? Thank you for doing these reviews, by the way. Loving your content. Thank you, Junior RC. And that's very interesting. Not sure if I would do a dub versus sub series. There is someone on YouTube that he doesn't comment, but he doesn't do commentary, but he goes through episode by episode and analyzes the dub versus sub features. When I do my Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds video, which I am working on, things you didn't know, things you missed, I will analyze some changes between the dub and the sub, some major changes. So I guess that kind of counts. As for what I think of the English dub, I do not hate it. I do not love it, though. And the reason I don't love it is I don't like the music. I don't like the censorship, especially the censorship. The voice acting I can live with. I don't like the script. That's another thing. The script to me is just so... I watched a scene from Arc 5. I haven't seen any of the Arc 5 dub yet. I've seen almost all the dub and all the sub of every Yu-Gi-Oh! Show. Except I haven't watched a lot of the sub from the original, funny enough. And I haven't watched a lot of the dub from Arc 5, the current one. And I know the dub is only at episode 50 or whatnot. And there was a scene between Sora and Shun. They had two great duels. It was the second duel, the one Sora wins, where Sora is about to kill Shun. He's about to win the duel. He doesn't kill Shun, but you think he's going to. And the line that he says right as he destroys Shun's monsters is, "Your goose is cooked." And I'm just thinking, nobody says lines like this. And sometimes the one-liners are hilarious. I think of Asuka and GX. She actually had a lot of funny one-liners. But a lot of the times, 90% of the times, the one-liners are so cringy in the dub that it just ruins the entire mood. The music does not live up to the original. And it's just reasons like that that make me not enjoy the dub as much as I enjoy the sub. But here's the thing. I don't pick on people that have only watched the dub. My brother, for instance, he's not a Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan, but he says he would never be able to watch anything in a different language, whether it be a movie or a TV show, because he doesn't want to read while watching the screen. I don't have an issue with it. I can do it simultaneously. I think a lot of people can, but I'm sure there's other people like my brother who watch the dub mainly because they just don't want to have to read and watch what's going on at the same time. So I don't think less of Yu-Gi-Oh! Fans that have only watched the dub. I think ignorance is bliss. And before I really watched the sub, the first sub I watched was Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Season 4, because I was like, you know what, I watched everything dubbed until then. I didn't know any better, and I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna, not watch Season 4, because the way GX ends in the dub is Judai gets killed. Ryo Marufuji is killed, and they don't come back, so you have to assume they're dead, which is just kind of dumb, and I was like, you know what, I gotta watch Season 4, I gotta know what happens. And I fell in love with the subs, man. I rewatched GX entirely in the sub. I didn't get to Duel Monsters. I watched 5Ds, dub, and then sub, and I like the sub a lot more. But I don't hold it against people that watch the dub. I think a majority of people that watch the dub maybe don't realize how much better, I don't want to say that word, but better the original is. And if that's what you like, though, that's what you like. I don't hold it against people. But I don't despise the dub. I gave the reasons why I don't like it. I know a lot of people do hate it, and I do understand why people do hate the English dub of most of the Yu-Gi-Oh series. Antonio Humbardo asks, for your Q&A, I was thinking about the last duel be Yuya with all other 3 inside versus Yuzu, the others also inside her, Yuya and Berserk, and if he wins, all dimensions will be unified, and Yuzu needs to beat Yuya for everything to return to normal. What do you think about this theory? I absolutely love this theory. This was actually one of my original theories, where Yuya's Berserk, and I think that's going to be the thing. When they're all in Berserk mode, that was a theory I brought up in the last discussion. When they're all in Berserk mode, I think that's what's going to trigger all the dimensions becoming one. I don't know if they're all going to be in one body. I would rather all 4 of the Yus to be separate, and all 4 of the Yuzus and the Bracelet Girls to verse them individually and have 4 ending duels as like the last 6 or 7 episodes. I think that would be awesome. I think there's a chance they'll do that. You know, I've seen other people throw around like a gauntlet match, like, you know, it starts off like YUGIOH versus Rory, and then it just goes back and forth, and when you fall, the next one comes in. I think that would be cool. I would love for them to do something like this, and I really do think it is possible we will see the 4 Bracelet Girls take on the 4 guys at some point during Arc 5. I'd definitely be down for it. JN1306 asks, I just noticed that Rin looks a lot like Ruka, mostly hair color and eye color. For the next Q&A, do you like the Moonlight cards used by Serena? If any more characters return, who do you think will return? Did you know that Yuya and Yuri is voiced by the same guy in the original? So for the first question, do I like the Moonlight cards? I do. I actually really like Serena as a character, and I do hope we see more of her in the future. If any more characters return, who do you think will return? I really think Janucci has a chance to return. I don't know why. Every time I think returning characters, I think Janucci. I'd assume another Zexal character still. Maybe it will be Anna Kazuki, because maybe she will have a relationship with Alan, brother and sister. I'm really not sure. Maybe they're going to do Zexal dirty and not even put in a second character, which would be a shame, especially for the hardcore Zexal fans. But I would even be a little upset if they did that. And then, did you know Yuya and Yuri is voiced by the same guy in the original? I know in the dub, Yuya, Yuto, Yugo, and Yuri have the same voice actor, which I'm not really a big fan of. I thought in the original, and I'm almost positive, Yuya and Yuto have the same voice actor. Yugo and Yuri have different voice actors. I'm pretty sure that's the case. I'll do my research. I'll post it on screen right now as I'm talking about if that is the case or not. But that's a cool fact if it is the case. But I know Yuya and Yuto definitely have the same voice actor. Edgar Gomez Sejas, hey, for the next Q&A, do you know about the Genesis Omega Dragon? It seems to be a very important card in the Arc 5 manga. In fact, I think it's the card that will decide the future of all dimensions. Do you think it is going to appear in the Arc 5 anime? A few people have brought this up to me, and I hope it does. Yu-Gi-Oh! Seems to love these dragon monsters. They really do. The fact that they haven't brought it up yet makes me think that maybe they won't, because again, we only have maybe 35, 40 more episodes left. But it's definitely possible that they can still give it a decent story, and maybe when they become one, that's the dragon that will get unleashed, and something along those lines. I could definitely see it tying into the events in the anime, absolutely. Fall Steel asks, do you think that Dennis Macfield will reappear in Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5? If he does reappear, what do you think he will do? Well, I made a video discussing the spoilers, and I'm not going to get too much into the spoilers out of respect for the people that didn't watch that video, but I can tell you, Dennis at some point, as I would have answered this question before spoilers, he is coming back. What do I think he will do? You know, I love Dennis. I like him a lot. That duel against Shun was great. But I think that his true motives is in entertaining people. He said when he had to greenlight the invention, it was one of the worst days of his life because he had to stop entertaining people and he had to start carding and killing people. So I think he's going to be redeemed rather quickly. I think that's pretty much it. I would love to see him duel YUGIOH, and I think that there's definitely somewhat of a relationship between him and YUGIOH since they were both in the Xyz dimension at the same time. So Dennis will be back, and I am very excited to see the path that Dennis takes going forward. Q&A. Every rival in Yu-Gi-Oh! Has 3,000 attack, 2,000 or 2,500 defense, a dragon-type monster, Kaiba has blue eyes, Chaz armored, Jack has red dragon archfiend, Kaido has galaxy-eyed photon. Do you think Akiba Reggie will have a DDD dragon-type monster in Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5? Again, I just said it, they love dragons in Yu-Gi-Oh! And so I could definitely see him having a dragon-type monster. At this point, I just want to see more cards. I just want to see more Reiji. I mean, we haven't seen him in a while. God knows where he's been. He's disappeared for 12, 13 episodes. I think he's one of the best characters in the show. You know, utilize him. He's been utilized very well, but now he's kind of been more underutilized than anything else. You gotta utilize Reiji. He's a great character. He's a great duelist. And I do think he will have a DDD dragon like all the other rivals. That's a good point that you made right there, and I think we could definitely see a DDD dragon. Again, Yu-Gi-Oh! Loves their dragons, so I would say it's definitely very possible. Next question is from Adami-san. In the TCG, OCG, we have a ritual card called the Dark Master Zork. Do you think that if there is a 5th dimension, that dimension is ritual? Do you think we will see Ryo Bakura using a ritual-based deck built around that card, or a new archetype built around it? 2, what characters do you think would be in a possible ritual dimension? 3, basically asking, what does the V mean, or the 5 mean in Arc 5? Could it mean there's an extra dimension? We've seen that question pop up quite a few times. But, you know, for the 3rd question, I really just have always thought Arc 5 meant the 5th show. That's just, I mean, it's just as simple as that. I don't think there's really a special meaning for Arc 5. It could indicate 5 dimensions, I suppose, but I've always thought Arc 5 means the 5th show in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime. What characters do you think would be in a possible ritual dimension? Pegasus and Asuka are really the only 2 that come to mind. It's a good question. Will we see Ryo Bakura? It's possible, but, I mean, Bakura, you have to remember, created the Shadow. This is not, the Ryo Bakura I'm sure everyone wants to see is the Yami Bakura. It's not Ryo, who did absolutely nothing besides get possessed and almost, let a dark spirit kill everyone. Everyone would want to see the Yami Bakura, who is Zork, who's created the Shadow games. If we bring the Shadow Realm into all this, I feel like that's going to be over everyone's heads, including myself, so I would be shocked if we saw Bakura in this show. Would love it, but I would just be shocked. Marco Magalis asks, thank you for answering my question. When I was watching this video, I came up with some theories, questions for next week. If Reiji doesn't become a bad guy, what do you think about a Yuya and Reiji versus Leo and Yuri? And if Reiji turns bad, what about a Yuya and Yusho versus Reiji and Leo? Fathers and sons teaming up equals epic. Thank you, and sorry for my bad English again. Your English is fine, and to everyone who says sorry about my bad English, I understand how difficult of a language the English language is, so really, do not worry about it. I'll be able to understand it. You don't have to apologize. Your English is a lot better than you think it is, trust me, for everyone that thinks that. But anyway, back on topic. I would love a Yuya and Reiji. I would actually prefer a Yuya and Reiji versus Leo and Yuri, as opposed to a Yuya and Yusho versus Reiji and Leo, because I do not want Reiji to stab the Lancers in the back. I love Reiji as a character. I would love Yuya and Reiji. I've brought that up before. I think it's possible, but, Yusho, I brought up versus Leo and Yusho. Versus Leo and Yuri is interesting. I don't think that will be the case. I think Yuri's already going to have his timeline resolved before they duel Leo Akaba. But I think Yuya and Reiji versus Ryo and Yusho is more possible. Probably not. That's tough. I just want to see Yuya and Reiji team up, to be completely honest. King of Fedoras, if you do another Q&A, I got 2 questions. Do you think if Yuzu absorbed Serena, Rory, or Rin, she would be able to have a Berserk mode? Second question, do you think Crow and Jack will play a somewhat significant role in the second series? I already kind of delved into the second question a few episodes ago. I think that, yes, they could come back with the Lancers. And they might just be, when the whole thing goes down, they might be around when we see Reiji and Sora again. As for the first question, it's very interesting. I believe that there's something with those bracelets. I believe they might even be stronger than Yuya in Berserk mode. Whatever it is with those bracelets, when all 4 of them are together, I'm not sure what it is. I can't wait to find out. I don't think it's a Berserk mode like Yuya's. Maybe it's like a different kind of mode that prevents Berserk mode. I'm not really sure what it is. And I don't think they have the power to maybe absorb people, but there definitely is something with those 4 girls, and I think they have a special power that is beyond the strength of Yuya's Berserk mode. I do believe that. Elite Power finally caught up and enjoying these reviews. Thank you, Elite. Questions, do you think Kurosaki is in danger of being carded soon? He seems to have been coming full circle, returning to the Xyz dimension, saying he values comrades. And Wikipedia says one of the translated titles, Falcon perishes on the battlefield. And then I'll answer the second question after. I do think he's in danger. Not in this next episode. Tomorrow's episode is titled The Falcon Perishes on the Battlefield, or I guess the episode that just aired a few hours ago if you're watching this video right when I uploaded it. The Obelisk Force is not going to card him. Kurosaki Shun, I would be shocked if he goes the entire show without getting carded. He will be carded at some point, unfortunately. That's just my prediction. The second question, not sure when we're going to see Barrett. That's a good question. I'm excited to see Barrett. Dennis, we know we're going to see him soon. I don't want to get too into the spoilers there, but it's confirmed Dennis will be back within the next, I'll just say 5 episodes. So Dennis will be back very soon. Not sure about Barrett, though. That is kind of interesting. And what role will Barrett play? It'll be interesting to see. It really will be. Black Suwani asks, Kite and Edo are going to duel, right? What do you think about Kite getting a ranked up Magic card for Galaxy? I would love to see it. It looks like Kaido and Edo might not duel, so unfortunately, it seemed when you asked this question 1 week ago that would have been a prominent duel that maybe was almost guaranteed to happen. Looks like it's not going to happen because Edo might redeem himself after the Yuya's duel. We're still not sure about that. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Whether he duels Edo or not, I would love to see him get a rank up Magic card. I think it would be really awesome. Will he get one? Probably not. I just feel like he probably won't, but I think it would be awesome to see it happen. Safira, but why Dragons? Do you think the process of turning people into cards is in any reversible? Yes, it will absolutely be reversible. Tsukakage, his twin brother, the ninja guy, has been carded. Countless others have been carded. It is absolutely reversible. It is death. That's what I take it as. You do die when you get carded, similar to how you did in Duel Monsters, or you get sent to the Shadow Realm, or whatever concept you want to use. It's death, in my opinion. But like most Yu-Gi-Oh! Deaths, they are reversible. This will absolutely be reversible. I would be stunned if it's not. I mean, think about how many people get killed if it's not reversible. It will be reversible. I'm 95% sure it will be. The Lion Turtle, how do you feel about the 6th series introducing a new type of spell or trap instead of a monster? There was a discussion about pocket spells where they would have 2 effects, one good for the user, one bad, and one of the effects happens when it's on the field and the other when it's destroyed goes to the extra deck instead of the graveyard. Well, I haven't heard much about these pocket spells. It's not a bad concept, but the main question, how do I feel about the 6th series being around trap or spells? I would like it a lot, actually. I feel like with all these summoning methods, it's going to be kind of, eventually, if there is a 6th series, again, that's in the air too, if there will be one. It's just, there's so many summoning methods now, it's kind of getting almost confusing and overwhelming. I would love if they were able to do a series based on magic or trap cards. I would like it a lot, actually. I feel like a magic card would make a lot more sense than a trap card. They did it with the Seal of Orichalcos. Could they do it an entire show, though? I'm not quite sure. You guys let me know. You had some good ideas, a bunch of you, about what a new summoning method might be on the last Q&A video. This is an interesting one because it's also important because this is what the whole show is going to kind of base around. So it'll and especially for the people that play in real life, this is very important to you guys, as I could imagine. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see what route they choose if they do have a 6th series. So Natmaster has a very interesting theory here. Now, in the interest of time, I'm not going to read it only because it would take me about 1:30 to read it. So I suggest pausing it right here, reading it for yourself, and then hearing some comments from me. Now, I think with this theory, it's interesting. It's about a 5th dimension. Again, is there a 5th dimension? I personally do not believe there will be a 5th dimension. I could be absolutely wrong about that. A lot of people would disagree with me. The only flaw I see in this theory is why, because again, this 5th dimension would be, it's a good theory. It is a very good theory. But why would the 5th dimension that is the original where all the protagonists existed, which we don't even know if Zexal's on that same timeline. This is just, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Timeline is an absolute nightmare. But if the 5th dimension was where all the main protagonists are and where, you know, it's just normal summons and all, then why are there alternate dimensions of those dimensions? Like, why is there an alternate version of Jack? Why is there an alternate version of Asuka? Those are kind of, and then does that mean there's 2 versions of Asuka, where if Judai gets pulled from this 5th dimension, along with all of his friends, now we have 2 different versions of Alexis Tenjoin, Asuka Tenjoin, I don't know why I said Alexis, but, I mean, that's the only issue I have with that. It's a good theory. It's not the one for me because, again, I personally just don't believe there is a 5th dimension. But if you do believe there is a 5th dimension, this would make a lot of sense. And if I believe there was a 5th dimension, I would hope this theory to be true because I would love to see the main protagonists in that 5th dimension. So definitely a very interesting theory from Natmaster here. Claudio Mustafaj asked, for the Q&A in Zexal, what kind of gazer did Kaido and other characters have? They merged with the eye, but we never learned how or why, or did we? Someone, a huge Zexal fan, is going to have to answer this because I do not believe we learned why. It was photon transformation, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that was the method that Kaido used to get his eye around, but I'm not sure what it was exactly. I'm sure there's definitely a bit of explanation behind it, but to be honest, I am drawing a complete blank here. I even tried to look it up and I didn't really find anything, so I do apologize. I don't think we really ever learned why, but if we did, someone please comment and correct me on that one. Persephone Diggin asks, how many episodes Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 have? Do you know? Well, I speculated that at the beginning of the video. What do you like in Reiji Akiba and why? He's not one of the greatest characters in the series. I know it's my opinion, but still. Well, I like Reiji just because he's such a calm and cool duelist. And, like, he's not an arrogant... I don't want to use a curse. I try not to curse. He's not arrogant. He's not. Like, Jack was arrogant. Kaido was a little bit arrogant. Shark was arrogant. Kaiba was if you looked up arrogant in a dictionary, Seto Kaiba's picture is next to it. Marufuji became arrogant. All the rivals were arrogant at some point, and Reiji is just so calm, and I like people who are humble, who aren't posting their lives on Facebook and their accomplishments. I can't stand when people do that, to be completely honest, and I just like humility in people, and so Reiji is like the definition of that. He's a great duelist, and that is why I like Reiji a lot. But I understand he hasn't done much in the show in terms of dueling, so I do understand the counter-argument to him not doing much. If you have the chance to be in one of the generations, which of them you want to be in and why? I already answered GX. I think I answered that in the last Q&A video. If you have a chance to bring one of the characters to life in real life, which character would it be and why? It would have to be my man Yusei. Yusei is one of my favorite characters. I just love everything about him. He's just chill. And he's just calm, and he just always seems to know what he's doing, and so Yusei's the guy I'm chilling with. And 5, since when you like the Yu-Gi-Oh! In total, since when you like the characters, and if there's a character you hated and liked him, is there a character you hated and then liked him after a few episodes? Good question. There's really not. I mean, Manjome I kind of grew to like a little bit. He was always a bit of an a-hole. But that's a tough one. There was really no character that I hated at first. Quattro, actually. 4. I did not like 4. I didn't like anything about him. But after he dueled a couple times, and after he kind of had a change of heart and everything, I really began... 4 is one of my favorite characters from Zexal. That's actually who I'm going to pick. 4 was a character that I really just did not like at all. But I grew to really... He became one of my favorite characters throughout Zexal. Ace Grit, I have a question. Do you think Roger is in the standard dimension and took it over? Well, if we get lucky, hopefully we'll never see Jean-Michel Raget again in Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5. But, no, kidding aside, I just did not like him at all. All kidding aside, I don't think he's in standard. And if he went to standard, I don't think he'd be able to take over, honestly. The only reason he beat Sora in Tsukikage was because he had that suit that let him keep coming back to life. It's not like he brought that technology to standard. I don't think he's in standard. I honestly do not think we will see Roger ever again. I really think he's gone. And I think standard, for the most part right now, is kind of safe. Zafir bin Anwar asks, do you think all the main protagonists from different Yu-Gi-Oh! Series will come at the end of Arc 5? I already answered this in a previous video. Unfortunately, I just do not. I don't think there is a 5th dimension, so I do not think we will see the other protagonists. I just think they're gone for whatever reason. Spear MKW, Aka Zapir. I know I butchered that, so I do apologize. For the title, Arc is probably based off Arc Area Project. What do you think the V means for the story? Again, I just think it's the 5th. I don't think it has anything to do with the story. I just think it's the 5th show, and that's why it's called Arc 5. What do you expect from the new Yu-Gi-Oh! 3DS game releasing later this year? Is it going to be any good, or is it going to be another failure like the 3DS Zexal game? Yu-Gi-Oh! And video games just don't match. I have both of the most recent ones on the console, Millennium Duels and Legacy of the Duelist, and they were fun, but Yu-Gi-Oh! And video games they do not have a good relationship, and it probably is not going to be that good, unfortunately. That's going to be my prediction. The Jorgen23, hi, I'm new to your channel. Well, welcome to the channel, Jorgen. I'm really enjoying. It's always good to share opinions. Q&A curiosity, what is your top 10 dragons of all Yu-Gi-Oh! Series? I'm not going to name any dragons, because that's actually a good idea for a top 10 list, and I don't like to give any spoilers away. So there's so many dragons in Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5, or not even Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5, just Yu-Gi-Oh! In general. So, top dragons is definitely a list that I could see myself doing in the future. Will Yuya turn into Judai's Supreme King mode after he absorbs all the U-boys? And another question, what if Standard Dimension is already invaded this time? I think Standard is fine. In terms of the Supreme King, I've also seen some people theorize that Judai is the main antagonist of Arc 5. You know, it's just as much of a stretch as my Kaiba theory, so I'm not going to rip it. I think when they get absorbed, when all 4 of them are absorbed, I think that's when the world will start to become one. That's when maybe Yuzu needs to step in and stop it, or someone needs to stop it. That's my prediction at this moment in time. I don't think he's going to become like the Supreme King. I think that was just Judai's journey. I don't think it wasn't because Judai, formed with other people. I think that was just a thing Judai had to go through. because of all the death he had seen recently that was going on in his life. The Resistance asks, do you think Yuya and Yuzu will tag duel? I'd love to see it. I don't think it will happen. Believe it or not, besides Judai and Asuka, none of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Main male and main female have ever dueled together, I'm pretty sure. I guess it happened with Judai and Asuka, but that was because Asuka, it made sense when that happened. I don't think it's going to happen. I think there's a better chance they'll duel against each other again than dueling as a tag team. Life Deather, question, what's your opinion on Gilog as a human and a Barian? I'm just curious and I want to know your thoughts because he's a person people discuss less about. Weird random question, I know. Well, this is the channel of weird random questions, so your question is welcome, Life Deather. I have to say Gilog, not really a big fan of him personally. I mean, he was the guy with the raccoon, right? I mean, he was more of a comic relief Barian, I thought. I liked Alito a lot more. I liked their friendship. I mean, they were good friends. And he told an alright story. There were just a lot of other Barians, Mizael, Durbe, Mirag, Mirag and Shark, that's kind of more of a cop-out than anything else, picking those two. But there were just a lot more Barians that I enjoyed watching over Gilog. So unfortunately for him, in my opinion, he was just more of a comic relief character than anything else. Anna Draws, did you think that one day Edo and Yuya will become friends? Sorry for my English. Again, your English is perfectly fine. Second question, did you think that Edo, in the end, will return to a card? Thanks for reading my question. I really like your work. Thank you, Anna. For my first question, I think yes, Edo will be redeemed at some point. I really do believe that. Whether it is at the end of this upcoming duel that they're probably going to have soon, or 20 episodes down the road, Edo is going to be redeemed, and he's going to go against Academia. I actually do believe he is going to get carded. I feel like I feel like a lot of people are going to get carded. I think it's going to be similar to that Zexal, Barry, and Onslaught arc when so many people got killed, and I do believe Edo, along with a lot of other people, are going to get carded at some point during Arc 5. Different Dimension Otaku asks, do you think Arc 5 is the final Yu-Gi-Oh! In the franchise? I've answered this before. We know it's ending spring 2017. The second there's an announcement about a new show, I will be, again, bringing that breaking news. I won't save it for this Q&A, even if it's an hour before, because that's big news. I mean, we kind of could have guessed when Arc 5 was going to end. I've already delved into this. I think it's 60-40 that Arc 5 is the last Yu-Gi-Oh! In the franchise. A lot of people will not agree with me. They say it makes way too much money for Konami, which makes a lot of sense. Will Arc 5 be the end? I'm not sure. I hope it's not. It'll be interesting to see. Whenever we hear any news about it, I will be hopefully the first to break it to the YouTube community. Dwayne Johnson asks, which Serena do you like better, Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon's? Again, I have heard good things about Serena's Pokemon, Serena in Pokemon, but I love Serena in Arc 5. She's one of my favorite characters. Maybe my favorite Bracelet Girl even. We haven't met Rin and Rory yet, so I don't know what I think about them. But I don't know enough about Serena from Pokemon, so really an unfair question for her, the one from Pokemon, because I don't watch Pokemon as religiously as I do with Yu-Gi-Oh! So I gotta pick the Serena from Arc 5. Different Dimension Otaku asks, if you were an Arc 5 version of Duel Academy, how would you feel and what would you do? See, that's interesting because a lot of people feel that they're doing the right thing. So would I kind of be able to realize that this is a horrible thing we're doing and maybe try to turn on them? Or I might even be just like too nervous to turn on them, because if you turn on them and you don't get away, you get carded right off the bat. That one girl that got carded with Asuka, she didn't even get to duel. She just got carded. So someone like me, I might be, if I knew it was wrong and I had people at the academy that said, look, we're going to escape, I might try to escape with them. But I don't know, that's tough because a lot of them seem like they're even brainwashed, so that's actually a really good question. I enjoyed that question. The Shape H31 asks, for the next Q&A, what does the title King of Games mean to you? You can pause it right there and read the rest, again, just for time constraints. It is a very interesting question, though. Duel King, King of Duelists, King of Games, they all mean different things. King of Games, there is one King of Games, and that is Yugi Moto. That's it. Duel King, to me, means more of a tournament, like you're a champion. Like when you win the Super Bowl, you're the Super Bowl champion. You're the Duel King. You know, that's what it is. You win the World Cup, you're the World Cup champion. So Duel King is more of a tournament. King of Duelists, the thing there is just King of Games is so much broader. Because remember, in Egypt, they didn't duel with cards. They dueled with, their tablets and their smartphones. That's not what I meant. But their tablets of, the monster reincarnations. And those were duels, but those were games. And so Yugi is the King of Games. and that title will never be taken, and I think that's why they adopted a new title. Duel King is like the champion of the current tournament. That's how I perceive it. That's actually a really good question, and I suggest people, you pause that right there, you read that in full, because that's an interesting one. I like that. What does it mean to you? Because everyone's going to have probably a different variation of an answer. Grace Tyler, do you think that Edo will turn on against Academia? I just answered this. I do. And who do you think the twins meant by Noromu? Is it Yuri? It's Noru, which is that clown clock guy that keeps panicking back and forth. I cannot stand that guy, honestly. Noromo, I think, means blockhead, so I think the Tyler twins do not think much of him. But I am honored that Grace, who is now the current Arc 5 waifu, asked me a question on this Q&A, so that's pretty cool. The Jared Punch asks, do you think Sayaka has feelings for Kite? And yes, this is for the shipping. Here's my thing. I think they're all friends, because Sayaka, I honestly have not seen Sayaka paired with Kite at all. I've seen her paired with Yudo, seen her paired with Shun. Here's the thing with that whole relationship. I think Alan and Sayaka would make the most sense, because they seem like they're close, and they seem like they're the same age. I feel like Shun and Kaito are years older than Sayaka is. But here's the thing. Shun and Ruri's best friend is Sayaka. So naturally, Sayaka is going to be close with her best friend's family, which is Shun. Shun, Yudo, Sayaka, Yuri, Ruri, they probably all consider each other like brother-sister. So I don't think there's anything going on there. I think the best chance with Sayaka in terms of shipping, the one that makes the most sense to me, is her and Alan. That's just the one that makes the most sense to me. The Lion Turtle asks, currently, which plot are you more interested in, the Lancers in Heartland or Yuzu in the Fusion Dimension? Yuzu in the Fusion Dimension. I wouldn't say it's not even close, but especially now that we've been in Heartland for a few episodes, the Arc Area Project episode was so good in my opinion. I cannot wait to go back to Yuzu and see what's going to happen. I mean, they're right by Academia, and now Yugo's involved. It's going to get good. I'm really looking forward to Yuzu's Fusion Dimension plotline. Crimson Ender, do you think the end of the Dimensional War will be the end of Arc 5, or will a new villain arise to keep the series going? Well, now we know Arc 5 probably has 35-40 episodes left. There is not enough time to get another villain. So, in my opinion, the Dimensional War will end Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5. I think the Dimensional War will come to an end probably around episode 145. 5 episodes maybe to clean things up, and then that's how Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 will end. I don't think you have enough time to solve this conflict and then have another conflict arise. I think the Dimensional War will end Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5. Julissa Agradano asks, do you think that Sayaka and Shun have a friendly or a love relationship? In my opinion, they may have a romantic relationship because of the 5th opening. Again, I just kind of answered that. Also, can you please do your top favorite characters from each Yu-Gi-Oh! series? Don't want to give any spoilers from that. If I do that, that's a good suggestion for a list, though. Again, with the romance thing, I think they just all see each other as brother-sister, and they're just close because, they're best friends. You're usually close with your friend's family, so I think that's more or less. There's more friendship involved than romance. That's just how I feel about it. So, guys, that pretty much wraps it up. I really enjoyed making this. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Again, if you didn't see your question answered, I do apologize. There's just some comments that I don't get, and I try to read every comment for future references. If you could put it in this format, Q&A, Q-E-A, Q&A, it would be greatly appreciated. That way, it's just a lot easier for me to sort. You can leave it on this video, leave it on any other, episode reviews. But that pretty much wraps it up. So if you guys are still here, you're troopers, and I appreciate the support. As always, let me know what you think of the breaking news that Arc 5 is going to end spring 2017. Answer any of these questions that you want. If you have any other questions or theories for me, please leave them down below. Next time I will talk to you guys will probably be the episode 109 review tomorrow. Not expecting much because it's an Obelisk 4 duel, but we'll see what happens. So it should be somewhat interesting. I really hope you guys enjoyed my second discussion video, my second Q&A video. Couldn't have made this without you guys. Subscribe, like the video, and as always, guys, until next time, I will see you later. Thank you for watching.